HBO has released the 5th episode of House of the Dragon Season 2, which shows how all of the characters are dealing with the fallout of last week's episode. So this review will obviously contain spoilers from both episodes, so if you don't want to have anything spoiled for you, then I suggest that you turn this video off now and go on to watch House of the Dragon instead. But the episode begins with Corlys, Rhaenyra, and Baela all mourning over the death of Rhaenys. And while we all knew that her absence would be a huge blow to the Blacks in general, no one feels that loss more than her actual family. The Sea Snake doesn't even know who he is anymore, since his own home is basically a ghost town. And for how large her absence looms over the characters in this episode, I was genuinely surprised to see that Rhaenys wasn't featured in the opening credits, or even Meleys for that matter. But we do get to see Meleys's head being paraded through the streets of King's Landing, because I guess Criston Cole thought that the small folk would be cheering for him for winning a battle over the Blacks. But these people are nearly starving. They don't give a fuck about who wins what battle. They just want to eat and live another day. Which is a fact that Rhaenyra may be taking advantage of, since she sends her maiden Alinda to fan the flames of the rumors being spread by the common folk in King's Landing. And it's not like the Greens had a flawless victory at Rook's Rest anyway. 900 men were killed, Sunfire is presumed to be dead, and Aegon the King is in a comatose state after being severely burned by his own brother. And since Aegon is currently incapable of ruling, his small council has to select a regent to rule in his stead. So they obviously pick Aemond to be regent, since he is technically next in line for the throne, is a powerful dragon rider, and probably most important to them, is a man. Because though Alicent has more experience at ruling than Aemon does, the council and her closest confidants reject her proposal to be regent without much of a second thought. But I guess that's what happens when you pick the side that doesn't want a woman to be in power. Now that Alicent is seeing how dangerous and destructive her children really are, and she wants to be put back into a position of power, the Greens won't let her have that power, no matter how noble her intentions really are. Either way, it'll be interesting to see how Aegon reacts to Aemon's regency when he eventually ends up waking up. In the meantime, we get to see the Eyrie again, which was nice, even if we didn't get to see the Moon Door, and we also get to see the twins again, which was rather interesting, especially since the Freys want Jace to promise them dominion over Harrenhal, but Harrenhal is currently preoccupied at the moment, though Daemon is clearly not having a good time over there, since we learned that he has a bit of an Oedipus complex, and that he's failing miserably at trying to raise an army of his own. But over at Dragonstone, Jace has the idea to search for other Valyrian descendants because their diluted Targaryen blood could allow them to find riders for Vermithor and Silverwing, which would give them dragons large enough to challenge Vhagar. So this episode isn't exactly an action-oriented one, as it mainly focuses on the plans that each character will make moving forward, which may come as a disappointment to some people, especially those who are looking forward to seeing some more action in the wake of last week's explosive episode. But I didn't mind this slower-paced episode at all, because we get to see plans being being made, alliances being forged or broken, and pieces being moved on the game board, which is exactly when Game of Thrones is at its best. So it's good to wind down and have a bit of a breather after a huge episode like last week's, especially since it allows us to brace ourselves for whatever is about to come next. But I cannot wait to see what happens on the next episode of House of the Dragon once it gets released on Sunday evening.